Hi, and welcome to this brief introduction into purchase orders. Now, if you haven't done so already, by all means, feel free to log into your Shopify store by going to shopify.com. And once you gain access to your dashboard, you want to go ahead to the left side navigation and select products. From there, you're going to actually see the purchase orders options right over here. And so go ahead and select purchase orders. Now, Shopify stores allows you to track, as they say up here, right in the front, they say track and receive inventory ordered from suppliers. It just gives you that extra functionality there to actually make things a lot easier for you. Now, we're going to go ahead and actually show you how to create a purchase order. All you have to do is simply go ahead and click the Create Purchase Order button right up here. Now, if you have any questions as to all the bells and whistles that this purchase order has and how it actually integrates into your inventory, by all means, feel free to click the Learn More button and you'll learn more about that. But let's go ahead and create a purchase order. So here it is. That's as simple as it gets. It's a very user-friendly screen, as you notice up here. Pretty much what you'd expect to see. Now, in this type of situation here, you actually have to have suppliers set up. And in this case, for this store, we haven't necessarily created suppliers, but if you want to go ahead and create a supplier initially, it'll allow you to do that through this screen. So all you have to do is select this drop-down button. It's going to say select from your available suppliers or create a new supplier. And in this case, we're going to go ahead and create a new supplier. Let's go ahead and say that it is vendor number 1. So let's go ahead and select that, vendor number 1. Obviously, we'll say that this is in the United States. For the address, let's just say street. Now, if we wanted to go ahead and make it easy, it does allow some customization where it'll pick up the city, the state. Let's go ahead and leave it like that. If we wanted to go ahead and enter in the zip code, we go ahead and do that. Maybe we have a contact named Bob. And we can even fill in the email and phone number. So let's go ahead and save that as our supplier. It says here zip code is not valid for Texas. Let's go ahead and select second. Let's say state of PA. And click save. Okay, so here is our first supplier. So as you notice here is now a supplier established for us to create this purchase order. Now destination can be whatever your destinations are as far as your shipping addresses in your Shopify store. This is preset in your settings in another menu. Now payment terms obviously here is optional, but you have terms of net 30, net 45, net 60. By all means, feel free to select what is the appropriate terms for your purchase. Let's go ahead and select net 30. The currency goes without saying that if you're purchasing within the US and if you are housed in the US, you want the supplier currency set as the US. If there's another currency that applies, just select the drop-down menu and select the appropriate currency. Estimated time of arrival allows you the option to select that from the date of the calendar. How's it being shipped? Is it being shipped? This is a drop-down menu from actual Shopify. By all means, feel free to select that. In this case, let's just say it's being shipped via FedEx. If we have a specific tracking number, again, Shopify allows you to enter in that tracking number right there, nice and easy. Now, when it comes to adding the products, you're creating a purchase order, so you want to select from your specific products that you have housed in your Shopify store. So by all means, feel free to fill in that information as to what's going to be on this specific thing. So let's go ahead and say all products. Let me just show you that again. Browse all products. And then be able to sift through this list very quickly. Let's just say that we're going to do a purchase order for the navy hoodie. So let's go ahead and add that to our purchase order. Now we have to tell the system what is the physical quantity that we're purchasing. Let's just say we're purchasing 100 of these items. We're going to have the ability to enter in a supplier SKU if we so choose. But let's say that we're purchasing them, say, for $30 each. If you notice here, a second, $30 each at 100 quantity, it's going to be $3,000. If it's applicable for tax, by all means, feel free to key that in. If it's not applicable for tax, but do not include that. If you notice here, when you update the tax, it's going to make it the amount updated automatically for you. In this case, we're not going to apply tax because it's going to be resale. Right over here, it's going to give you the cost summary of your purchase order. If there is a specific reference number that you need attached to your purchase order, by all means, feel free to do that. As far as tags, you can go ahead and do that. Note to the supplier. You can say send as soon as possible. Okay, so it looks like our purchase order is ready to be created. You want to go ahead and save as a draft right now. And this is now officially created as a draft. We do have the option here as a delete function right over here. Okay, if you want to delete this purchase order, if you want to create a duplicate, you have the ability to create a duplicate of this purchase order and then edit that duplicate order. You also have the ability to export it into a PDF. You have the ability to mark as ordered. So it really is up to you at which discretion you want to so choose. Now, if you notice here, as we backed into our purchase orders main dashboard, now because we have a physical purchase order here, you do in fact see it appear in your main dashboard. Again, if you want to go ahead and do additional functionality here, you have the ability to remove tags over here and add tags to it. Again, to edit it, just click it. It'll bring you back into the screen. Once you've actually received this order, this purchase order, you can, if you've actually placed the order, that is, you want to mark it as ordered. So let's go ahead and do that. It says, after marking this order, you'll be able to receive incoming inventory from your supplier. This purchase order can be turned into a draft again. So again, what they're basically saying is just make sure without a shadow of a doubt that this is in fact something that you want to say that you physically ordered. So let's go ahead and do that it actually looks the way it's supposed to. Let's go ahead and mark it as ordered. It's now officially ordered. And so again, you know, the Shopify store does allow you to receive inventory against this specific purchase order. If you notice up here, you're going to have the ability to view the various statuses of your orders. Over here, you have draft. You have ordered right over here, which is the state that this currently is. If you have a partial purchase order, meaning that you received only a certain portion of that inventory, it would appear under partial. If it's received, it would be under here. If it's closed, under there. And you do have the ability to create new views. It really is up to you. Now, it is really, again, that user-friendly. If you have any additional questions on purchase orders and the functionalities, by all means, feel free to research over here in the help section. As you noticed over here, it's going to show you all the little bells and whistles on, as we just mentioned, how to actually add a supplier, how to create a purchase order, how to edit the supplier details, how to edit the purchase order, and all the little bells and whistles that you're going to find. So now if we want to actually physically receive that inventory, you're just going to go back into your actual purchase orders. You're going to find that inventory if it's actually came in, and you want to find that and go into the details of that purchase order. And if you notice right over here, you have the ability to now say that you've in fact received 100 of those actual navy hoodies. So you want to go ahead at the top right side, click the receive inventory. It's going to throw you into this section right here. And out of the 100 that you ordered, if you notice total received 0 of 100, you want to specify how many are acceptable, how many have been rejected. And bear in mind, you can in fact do partial receipt of your inventory, meaning that if they've only sent you 50 and 50 are now on hand, you want to go ahead and out of the classic navy hoodie, say I accepted 50, click save. And you want to go ahead and just save that. It's now going to appear that you received 50 out of the 100 right over here. So let's go ahead and go back to over here. And if you notice now, this order is now partial status over here, that you'll have access to that specific partial status right over there. Now going back to the products of the Navy, if you notice now we have 50 in stock for the classic Navy. It really is that user friendly. So let's go back to purchase orders right now. If for whatever reason you received inventory and you've noticed that in fact you have accepted 50 and you've realized that it's not 50, in fact it's 40, the only thing you need to do is again find your purchase order, click into the detail of that purchase order, go into receive inventory, And instead of, if you wanted to say, okay, I didn't receive 50, I in fact received 40, I need to reduce it by 10, all you have to do is create a -10, click save, and it will literally update your inventory now that it's no longer 50 but 40. It really is that user friendly. If you want to go ahead and say, okay, it's not 40, I need to update it, and I need to say in fact that I received 60, just go in there. You already received 40. If you know it's 60, that means you got to add 20 additional items in there. All you have to do is go ahead and say 20, and it'll throw it into 60 of 100, and it's going to show you what it's going to look like before you click save. So you have the option to do that. So again, to recap, if you've received inventory, you made a boo-boo on the number of items that you've entered and you need to reduce it, just go in there and enter in a negative number to reduce whatever the amount is, and it'll do that for you real time. It really is that user friendly. So hopefully that wraps up all the information that you need as far as purchase orders, how to receive that. Bear in mind that when you receive the inventory, you actually have the real-time effect into your product's inventory. You'll see that effect real time. And lastly, before we actually wrap up this section, I also want to point out that if in fact you do need to edit this purchase order for whatever reason, there are in fact certain fields that you can in fact edit. All you have to do at the top is click the edit button, and in which case you're going to see the ability to edit certain information such as estimated arrival, tracking number, payment terms, and even you can edit the quantity that you established for this purchase order and the pricing. So bear in mind that any changes you make here do impact your inventory levels as far as what you can receive. And you also just want to make sure that whatever you received is the correct number on hand. Double check your inventory. If you go back into inventory now and you look at your classic navy, you're going to see the real-time inventory. If there's any adjustments that you need to make outside of your purchase order, you can always have the option to go into your inventory list and make the adjustment there. That wraps up everything we need to know for purchase orders. It's not a complicated piece of functionality. It's nice to have it there, and I look forward to seeing you into other sections.